Much has changed since those early heli-skiing days, most dramatically of all, the skis themselves.
The biggest change has been shape. So all skis now have a real, what they call side cut, a real shape to them. So when you tip the ski on its edge, it really arcs a clean turn through the snow. Whereas before those changes, you know, skis used to be straighter and you had to physically turn the skis. So now it's not the skier that turns the skis, it's the ski that turns the skier.
One of the year's highlights, the annual ski tests, which review the latest developments in ski technology.
Basically, we're testing all the skis for next year. So we've got about 250 pairs of skis to get through. And it's really just checking out the changes for next season, seeing where people have moved forward, and just trying to get a feel for the new equipment for next year.
The results are reviewed in the Ski Club's own magazine, Ski and Board, formerly known as Ski Survey, and also on skiclub.co.uk, the club's extensive information website.
Et donc des passages rendus délicats dès lors que la visibilité est un petit peu moins bonne.
British skiers are still competing on the international circuit in Europa Cup, World Cup and the British Championships held in Tignes.
Ben Mickle is the winner of today's international downhill.
The piste today was really good. Conditions are perfect. It held up for all the racers, so it was a fair race today, and really happy to have had the win.
It was actually a really turny downhill. It was the slowest one I've done this year, but it was probably the most technical. Like, it was quite similar to a Super G, which is a slower discipline, but it was pretty tough. I think the heat makes it tough because you get really lethargic and you're in the start gate and you've got to go out and you've got to get your heart rate up to 180 in 10 seconds, but you're pretty tired, you know. I think the highlight was definitely making my first World Cup points this year. My goal last season was, that was my ultimate goal, to make World Cup points and to finish top 30, and that's what I did.
Caroline Stewart-Taylor, the club's chief executive, is a great believer in leading by example. She sets a cracking pace both on and off the slopes.
What I think is really exciting about the way the club has developed over the past 100 years is that the aims of the club in 1903 are actually the aims that we're pursuing and fulfilling now. The aims in 1903 were to promote skiing to more people, to share knowledge and to have a great time in the mountains. And those are three things that we're still very much doing now. The ski club works with the whole industry to develop the sport, bring on more people that want to get involved in snow sports, and that's terrific. We're working with well over 80 ski tour operators at the moment, and many shops and dry ski slopes.
The ski club is out in about 44 resorts. What we do in resorts is becoming more and more important. We have the Verbier Challenge Cup in Verbier, we hold the Lutman-Johnson race in Zermatt, and more we're getting involved with other events such as the City Ski Championships in Courmayeur, the Verbier Ride in Verbier, and more new events that are coming onto the scene.
But we also run specialist holidays for members that want to ski with other members who are of a similar ski standard. So they can go off and really make the most of their sport. And we take them out with mountain guides and instructors and sometimes our volunteer leaders, and they just have a fabulous time together. We also cater for families and children without their parents, as well as our very popular Peak Experience programme, which is for our more mature members.
Skiing people are hooked on skiing and will not give it up until they've absolutely got to. That's why I love leading these parties, because people on into their 80s, still skiing beautifully, still loving it. For instance, you could go up the Gornagrat Railway up to 10,000 feet, places for lunch here, so you go and find a lovely restaurant, you can sit and soak up the sun, which is absolutely wonderful in the middle of the winter when we know that it's horrible back at home.
But it's still our volunteer reps who are the mainstay of the club. 400 volunteers are sent out to resorts all over the world, in Europe, in North America, in Canada, in a total of 44 top resorts. We run a very comprehensive training course for our reps. So members who would like to put something back into the sport, into the club in fact, to go out and take other people out skiing, can come on the training course, which is run by mountain guides and top instructors.
We involve some professionals in the course. We have about 4 mountain guides who work on the course, and each of those guides has an area of responsibility out in teaching mountain craft. We also have 2 ski teachers who are able to teach the skills of skiing, and particularly a modern approach to skiing. That's one of the things that really concerns us. And all of the areas that we try to look at are things like leadership, both on and off the piste. We also have to look at the safety equipment that people need to carry when they ski off the piste. So we do quite a lot of avalanche transceiver work, where the participants will have the opportunity to look at all of the modern devices that are available, including the new digital devices. And we usually set up some kind of scenario for them on that.
In an avalanche incident, there would be a start-off zone, a track, and then a run-out zone. And the casualties are most likely to be in that run-out zone. All the equipment on the slope, no transceiver, just to pick up the skis, the poles, the gloves, to check there's nothing attached.
Other aspects of mountain craft that we like to teach are the skills of finding your way around the mountain using a map, not just using a piste map, but using a proper map. One that will actually show a great deal more detail in terms of being able to navigate from point to point and to make evaluations of what slopes might be safe to ski in relation to the direction in which they face. And that kind of information is the sort of thing that you can get from a proper map.
You take no notice of where you're going.
So true, yeah.
So when you're being led, you probably don't actually need to take much notice. If you look on the map and the run that we took towards the Comte de Santon, we've got some circular contour lines with some tiny little lines coming off them, pointing in towards the centre of the circle. What do you think those are? Hollows, yeah, they're depressions. No, they're natural depressions, in fact, in the ground, and that we've been seeing lots of those all over.
In the early days, the club was run by volunteers, because they only had a small number of members, and everybody put their time into it. Now we need to employ 24 people full-time, and we have to run in a professional way, but we do bear in mind all the time that the club is a club and it's here for its members, and that's what our job's all about.
And we have ski club reps based in about 44 resorts in Europe, America and Canada. Yeah, all included in the membership.
We're a very credible organisation because we've been around for so long. We've built up contacts in resorts and in the ski industry throughout such a long period. People really do feel that we're here to stay. We're not a short-term organisation in any way. We've been going 100 years, and I'm sure we've got more than another 100 years in us.
As the ski club celebrates 100 years of British skiing, it all seems a far cry from that inspirational dinner back at the Café Royal in May 1903. But there are some strong echoes. How much has really changed in 100 years? And would those early pioneers recognise any of the hundreds of resorts now spread out across the Alps? What those early pioneers would recognise today is that same spirit of adventure and the search for action-packed sport. That race for untracked powder early on an alpine morning is perhaps the same as it was 100 years ago.